Craig, thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate it. What are the toughest cyber challenges that the SOF people in this room have to deal with?
Well, I think there's a number of them, but I think one of the ones that comes up over and over again, Francis, is the ability to take classified information and then pass it out to all the constituency that might need it. So what we're seeing a lot of is organizations leveraging open source intelligence that's available out in the world, so that you have the ability to pass information, get it to the warfighter, get it to those stakeholder organizations that need to support them, and because it's unclassified, it can actually move at the speed of cyber. It can move in the digital world quickly, as opposed to you've got classified information that has to go through a whole process, and lots of times by the time it gets declassified, the cyber intelligence is no longer valid because the actors have moved or something's changed. So I think as the government continues to partner with the industry and look at cybersecurity as an enabling capability, what you're going to see is more and more organizations, like that are inside of the SOF, are going to start to leverage open source intelligence and other capabilities to be able to meet their mission needs.
Has the proliferation of open source intelligence changed the nature of how that information moves around? Because my understanding is it used to be that pretty much all of that kind of information was classified. It had to go through the process you just described, and now it's a tremendous mix of stuff.
It is, yeah. I think you'll see the intelligence lifecycle changing, and what we're always trying to work with our customers on is just understanding, what's that intelligence workflow, right? How does the information come into the organization, right? Who are the constituents that need to see that information as a consumer, and then are they also producers, right? And then where does that go? So I think one of the what we'll see once again as we start to mature organizationally and people start to move everything at the speed of cyber as opposed to the speed of classified intelligence. It's not going to get complicated, but you really need to understand, how can I exploit this information, to meet mission needs.
I think you've kind of gotten at what my next question will be, but I'd like to dig into it more, and that is you referenced workflow, and I think that's a really interesting term to apply. And I wonder how you expect or speculate that workflow might change moving forward. We talked about the open source intelligence addition to the mix and so on. What are some of the other factors that you think might change that workflow?
Well, I think what you see if you look at the Department of Defense, writ large, right? We've got specific organizations that have specific missions, and what we're starting to see with kind of cyber and geopolitical interests sort of starting to mesh, you start to see the graying of the silos, and hopefully the breaking down of those silos, so that you really understand, okay, maybe from an intelligence perspective, yes, the J2 is the owner. However, there is interest in the J3, there's J6, there are other organizations that can take that input and then also feed information back. So I think you're going to start to see the workflows get more complex but more capable to allow people to get those outcomes that they're looking for.
It's great insight, Craig. Thanks very much for joining me.
Certainly, I appreciate you having me, Francis. Thanks so much.